Kia certainly shocked the world when they introduced their first luxury sedan back in 2015, and today at the 2018 New York International Auto Show, they're kind of shocking us again by introducing a second generation. Let's take a first look. So when it comes to full-size luxury sedans, design is very important, and the K900 has kind of always had a little bit of a vanilla kind of blend into the crowd look. For the second generation, Kia made the design still very, very conservative. To be honest, I actually thought the first generation was a little bit better looking, but you can see here they've updated it to kind of take some lines from the other Kia products. It has these double stack LED accents in the headlights with full LED headlights. The Kia Tiger Nose grille here is kind of dominating the front. It's got this three-dimensional look to the actual finish here, along with the radar sensor. I'm just not entirely sure I'm in love with the looks of the vehicle. It's certainly very kind of conservative. I just wanted Kia to make this look a little more stately, and it just kind of still blends into the crowd. Now when you look at the actual proportions, it has a traditional sedan three-box shape to it. They didn't try to make this look like a coupe, like a Mercedes CLS or anything like that. The wheels, they're a little bit on the conservative side. Again, I kind of find them to be a little bit bland, although I do like the silver finish wheel on this particular one as opposed to the white one on the other side of the stage, which has like a dark gray finish. And size-wise, it's about the same size as a Mercedes-Benz S-Class. I didn't have actual dimensions from Kia for this particular one yet, but we'll have to talk about that at a later date. Now at the back, it has a lot of design cues here from like a Bentley or a Mercedes-Benz S-Class. It's certainly a little bit better looking for me at the rear, but again, it doesn't really stand out. It's a little bit too vanilla. It blends in too much. And one thing I am noticing, the actual Kia badge here, instead of like the traditional K, stylized K they use in Korea, I actually like the little textured red carbon fiber-ish look in the badge here, so it's definitely a different look to it, which I really like. Now the trunk area, you can see, is very important for a large sedan. It's a power operating trunk, and the carpet itself is nice and soft, which is good, and it's a pretty big trunk. The old one was like around 16.5 cubic feet of space. They didn't have numbers for this yet, but I think a lot of buyers in this segment are going to find the trunk to be very useful still. So underneath the hood of this new K900, if you guys remember when it first launched in America, it only came with a V8. A V6 was added later. Both those powertrains are gone, at least for the US market. It's been replaced by a 3.3 liter twin turbo V6, the same one that you know in the G90 and the Stinger. In this application, it still makes 365 horsepower and 376 pound-feet of torque. It all goes out through an 8-speed automatic transmission developed in-house by Kia, and it comes standard with all-wheel drive. The previous K900 was rear-wheel drive only. I think by them switching to the all-wheel drive definitely made this a much better vehicle, especially for this market. So the inside of a luxury sedan is also pretty important, and the K900 has a lot of new technology that Kia is introducing, and honestly it pretty much for me rivals what you see in a lot of its competitors. Now this car shares a platform with the Genesis G90, which I found the interior to be nice, although not super groundbreaking. I have to say I prefer the interior of the Kia version, which shouldn't be the case, but they've just chosen a much better design here. I really like the big 12-inch display here with the tablet style screen. I also like the matte finish wood that they use here as opposed to the glossy wood that they use in the Genesis. The one thing I'm not too crazy about is the steering wheel. I don't love the design. It tries to mimic what Mercedes used on the S-Class before they refreshed it. It's just an interesting steering wheel. It does have metal paddle shifters. It's got some nice wood, some stitching around the airbag cover. Now, in terms of the materials here, it's got leather stitching on the doors, on the dashboard, the wood, the real aluminum. I love it. It's honestly pretty nice. Now, this head unit here is kind of a beefed up version of the the Kia Yuvo that you find in the other products. You control it from this little controller knob here, which kicks, it scrolls, it zooms, or I believe it's also a touchscreen. Yes, it is a touchscreen. So I like the fact that Kia kind of gives you that option. I would imagine the touchscreen probably cuts out when you're driving. I won't know for sure until I actually drive the thing, but you can see here it's got pretty good storage. Cup holders here, a wireless charging pad, heated and cooled seats, a heated steering wheel. I like all the hard buttons here, which are trimmed in metal, just like it is in the actual K9 or in the Stinger, which is definitely nice. The navigation here, you can see it hasn't really changed. It's still the Kia mapped graphic display, which I kind of wish they made it look a little bit more different, but honestly with the bigger screen it does look a lot more impressive. This car still has like a 360 camera, it has the driver assistance, and in terms of spaciousness it feels pretty good in here. The seats are nice and comfortable, they're wide, they're like 16-way adjustable. You have a good view out of the front, although this vehicle is pretty wide and you can feel that when you're behind the wheel. But as any large luxury sedan is, let's take a look at the back seat and see how spacious that actually is. So as in any other luxury sedan, most of the people who buy these, they tend to have a driver and just be driven around. At least that's how it is in their domestic market. And when you get to the back seat, the K900 certainly is pretty competitive, although I would have to say it's not quite as spacious as what you get in a Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Now in terms of the features here and the space, well first let me talk about the space because the hump here is pretty large for the drive shaft, so don't even put someone here in the middle seat. The legroom here is decent, although this is where the front seat was, where I had it, and the foot space underneath here is not great. I can't really get my foot underneath there, and I kind of wish you had more space. Now on this side, you can move the seat forward here with these buttons to give this passenger here a little bit more room. I guess Kia wants you to sit on this side, but its competitors, the German competitors, offer a little bit more room. The materials here are nice. You have these manual sunshades, which are good. You have leather, aluminum. You have this really nice lit LED lighting here. It's accenting the cabin. You have vents back here, and then when you fold this back down, you can see this controller controls the screen up front. You can also put an up and down the rear sunshade. It's heated and cooled back here. You have a wireless charging area here actually on this portion with another USB. You can adjust the seat here with this little controller here, just like on this side, which is definitely nice. So I mean, they included a lot of the features. I just wish it had a little bit more room. But overall, I think people who buy this thing and just want a really nice back seat, you're gonna be mostly impressed. This is better than what you're gonna get in like a mid-size car, like a 5 Series or Mercedes-Benz E-Class. Now, they haven't announced pricing yet on this all-new K900, although the old one started around $60,000. I imagine this one might be a little bit more, but it should go on sale later this year. Kia will announce that at a later date. For Redline reviews of the 2018 New York International Auto Show, I'm Sofyan Bey.